Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're back. May the Most High be praised. Shabbat Shalom. So where we at? What we doing? We had to take some votes, and we had to see what we're going to do and how we were going to move today, as opposed to which class we're going to start and operate in today. All right, so here we go. So where we at, family? Are we going to continue on with the previous lesson from earlier? Just moving it out, completing it out in this time frame? Or are we going to go with a new lesson? Primarily due to the book of Genesis, chapter 1. Let's see where we at. See how this thing is going to play out. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. All right, what we doing? All right. It's the 4 o'clock hour now. Genesis lesson. We got one vote for the Genesis lesson. One vote for the Genesis lesson. I ain't seen nobody else do no voting, so I don't know. So what I had to do was I had to figure out a smooth name to name this class that could cover either way in which we decided to go. So I came up with the things we are willing to sacrifice for family. And I thought the things in which we are willing to sacrifice for family, because sometimes in staying in a marriage, you're sacrificing leaving that marriage because, like Maisha said earlier today, the damage, the mental damage that it could do to the children. So sometimes as a lady, as a wife, and you know your man has more than one wife, you don't want to leave that situation because you're making a sacrifice for yourself to bring your family peace and your children stability. Oftentimes when a marriage breaks up, the family breaks up, the children suffer more than the adults. And a lot of times, if the woman had taken her time and made the proper decision before she decided to just break up with her husband or not give her all to her marriage, it would have been a completely different outcome than what she has with her youth, her children, growing up, going to jail, being unhappy, having a lot of mental problems in the long run based on the separation of her father and her mother, or his father and his mother. Divorce have ramifications sometimes that affect the children directly, but in their subconscious mind, not overtly where you actually get to see it play itself out. But if you know what to look for, the signs, the indicator points, then you will see it play itself out right before your eyes. And oftentimes that's the way it goes when you are in divorce situations. When the women break up with the men because of whatever reason it is, or the men break up with the women for whatever reason it is, marriage wasn't designed to be that way. Marriage was designed to be forever. But as we know, a lot of us, we enjoy the company of each other for a period of time, but we don't stay forever. A lot of people don't stay married forever. But you should. You should do your best to remain married until the Most High calls you back from this life to the next life. You should do your best to remain married. All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. All right, so what we doing, family? I got one vote for Genesis. Move on to Genesis. And we can do and we got one vote for finish the polygyny. All right. So we're going to take the next 3 votes. And we're going to see what the next 3 votes detail. If they tell us we need to move on, do the Genesis portion, then we'll do the Genesis portion. If it says for us to do the polygyny portion, we'll finish out the polygyny. So come on, family, if you're in the room, your vote is important. Please count, take your vote, give us your opinion on which direction you would have for us to go. Let us know. We're taking votes to see if we're going to continue on with the polygyny or if we're going to read a fresh new portion of lesson in the book of Genesis. And the things we are willing to sacrifice for family is the title that we have on this portion. And that title was designed to go either way with the conversation of the day. Whether you chose Genesis or whether you chose to continue on polygyny. The next 3 people who give their vote, if 2 votes goes toward one of those other ones, then we're going to take that. So the next 3 people to give their vote, to cast their vote, is going to determine what today's lesson is. So let us know, family, what is your decision? How do you propose we walk? Should we teach the story of Genesis, or should we continue on with the earlier lesson for polygyny? Come on, family. All these people in the room, somebody should be casting their vote. I guess maybe these are the people that don't want nobody to know they're watching. All right, so if you cast your vote, we'll act like you didn't say anything. We don't know who you are. If we know who you are, we'll act like we don't know who you are, and we just won't say anything. All right, but we need your vote so we can get the lesson moving. Ornette says Genesis. Okay, we got 2 Genesis. All right, we need 2 more people. Let us know. We got 2 more. If we get 1 more Genesis, we're going. If we get a polygyny, then we need 2 votes for polygyny. Come on, family. We need 2 more votes. Let us go. Let us know. Let us do what we got to do. Y'all slowing up the process by not letting nobody know you're here. We're not worried about who you are. If you want to hide, you can hide. But all we need you to do right now is give up the vote. We need 2 more people. I feel like I'm begging. Is that what I'm doing? All right, I'm going to stop begging. So we're going to give you a few minutes to get your votes in. Let me see if we can. Okay. So today's story, we're going to go with the book of Genesis. Because the people in the background don't want to be known that they're there. So we're going to act like they're not there. And we're just going to go with the story of Genesis. We got 2 votes for the book of Genesis. So that's where we're going to go. Let's see. Genesis. Now, based on last week's lesson, we covered something last week in class. We covered something last week in class. I had something I needed to show you, but Safari won't allow me to open it. So I can't get there right now. Let me get back to the lesson. All right. We covered something last week in class. It was about the Oreo. I covered it in class about people eating Oreo cookies. And someone sent me a video about the Oreo cookies. Let me see if I can copy and yeah, I might be able to show you the video while we're waiting for the people to decide what they want to do. Let me see if I can pull up the video about the Oreo cookie just so I can play it. If it's going to allow me to play it. It still may not allow me to play it. Nope, it's not allowing me to play it. And it's not allowing me to play it because I don't have Instagram on my computer. Okay, wait a minute. No. All right, now let's see if I can pull this page over. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull this page over. Presenter screen. All right, we might be able to play it. Let me see if I can play it. Can you see that? Nope, still doing the same thing. Won't let me go. All right. Can you see that video?
1 second.
Y'all can see that video?
5 seconds. 30 seconds.
That's an Oreo cookie. That's an Oreo cookie. That's the thing that we
0.1 second. 0.5 second. 1 second. 3 second. 5 second.
So did you see that? Did you see how that Oreo cookie was on fire and didn't get consumed? Didn't burn up?
Yep.
And that was a torch. Now, this is one of those foods that we take and we ingest that into our system, thinking that our stomach acids are going to incinerate it, and tear it up. This is horrible. This is horrible. I don't know where that symbol, the Baphomet symbol, is located. I couldn't tell you. But this is horrible because these are foods that we eat on a regular. I've never known that Oreo cookies was that bad for you. I never knew it was that bad. But now I see it for myself. I seen the fire, burning the cookie, and it wasn't consumed. So that you know a little bit about the foods that we're eating. If they're fire retardant, flame retardant, what good is your stomach acid going to do for it? How are you going to digest it? So what type of chemicals are they putting in these foods that we're consuming? All right, so here we go, family. We're in the book of Genesis. We're going to be reading out of the book of Genesis today, but as we start right now, we have to give out our commandments. Yoel, Shabbat Shalom. Ibati, see if you can find that symbol on the cookie, on the Oreo cookie, and send it to someone so that we can post it. Or you can have your husband come on the screen. He has the link, and then we will be able to show that symbol to the family. I'm not familiar with the symbol, so I don't know where it is. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on, family. Let's move on. So this is the time of day where we give our commandment. We give a commandment, and then we give our explanation of that commandment. So let's see, family. Let's see where we at. All right. Nobody has a commandment. All right. I'll go first. Does anybody have a commandment? Okay, Ema. All right. Does anybody have a commandment for the day? Would anybody like to start off with their commandment? Okay. I'm going to go first. My commandment for today will be, thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. There you go. So y'all got my commandment for today. Well, what? Nobody saying nothing? Okay. Do y'all got any commandments? Anybody else got a commandment for the day? Since I said that, I can get away with that. Nobody ain't complaining.
You want somebody complaining?
Ain't nobody saying nothing, so y'all must be cool with it. All right. There's another commandment that I was thinking about today when I was preparing my lesson about marriage. This commandment came up. But it's a commandment that I used to say all the time, but I haven't said it in a long time, and I haven't heard anyone else say it in a long time. So I thought I would mention it. It's a commandment about when a man goes out to war and he sees a woman with a beautiful Yafet Basar, a beautiful body, and he wants to take her for his wife. I believe this is in Deuteronomy. What is that? Is it 8 or 18? I'm not sure which one. He is it 8 and 18 or 8? I'm not sure where it's located. But one of y'all can find it. All y'all Bible scholars, somebody can find it and put it in the room. So when he finds a woman with a beautiful body and he likes, he can take her to his home. That woman, take her to his home, and she is to mourn for her mother and father for 30 days. And after she mourns for her mother and father for 30 days, then he's allowed to take her to himself. But prior to that, it's against the law for him to just take that woman and have intercourse with her and try to make her his wife without following the procedures that the Creator gave in the law. Now, I look at that and I see a lot of different things. A lot of guys today don't have a place to take the woman, but they want the woman. But according to the law, this man had to take this woman to his house. Not your mom's basement, not your homie's bedroom in the living room, somebody else's home, but your home. I guess the Creator wanted to make certain that you understood you had to be able to provide for this woman when you took her as a wife. And then he had to give her adequate amount of time to mentally get over the loss of her mother and father. 30 days is what he gave him. 30 days. After 30 days, the Creator said, okay, now you can take her to be your wife. And when a man finally says that 30 days, or when he gets her and takes her to himself and takes her to his home, he had to cut off her fingernails and he had to shave off all of her hair. And then she was able to mourn for those 30 days for her family. So in essence, what she was really given was a new start, a new beginning as a new individual. Because we find glamour, we find pride, we find a lot of things in our beauty, in our outer appearance. Women with their beautiful nails, and sometimes they paint them, and with their beautiful hair, a lot of things in that nature. You'll be surprised how those things affect you. Iman, was that something you wanted to watch for the class? Did you want the family to see that?
Yeah, that's the thing about the Oreo. I was just sending it to you so you can share.
Oh, you want me to share it? Okay, let me see if I can get back there. All right. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can pull this up.
So I'm flipping through this book and I see an Oreo. And I hear in my spirit, did you see that? But hold on. Did I see this right? There's no way the Leviathan crosses on this cookie. Yes, it is correct. Alright, so I guess Leviathan likes Oreos. These are now Leviathan's favorite cookies. I really want to know if this was done on purpose and for what purpose. In Satanism, in ancient times, they honored Satan by consuming a symbol of him through blood or sacrifice. Still, practiced today with the satanic Oreo. Be wise as serpents, my brothers and sisters, and harmless as doves, so that we would not be outwitted by Satan, for we are not ignorant of his designs.
Wow. That stuff is all over the place.
Most people have no clue that in 2024,
All over the place. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for grabbing it, Bati. Appreciate it. So this symbol, let me grab this picture again. This symbol here of the Oreo cookie okay, my screen is not allowing me to pull it up, but okay. I had blown the symbol up, but it's not showing me the blown up symbol on your screen. You're not able to see it, but it's primarily these three dots. I mean, these two lines on top, and then the circle. Now, this circle underneath, I'm familiar with. That circle is infinity. It means infinity. It means it goes on forever and forever without ceasing. The symbol over here is the Messianic symbol. I'm familiar with that as well. The circle, I'm not familiar with that circle. So I'm not familiar with this top part. I'm not familiar with this circle. And this is the infinity that's at the bottom of this. How they tie that to Lucifer, I'm not sure. I don't know how that goes. I know they might try to use this compass. Are they saying that the compass is on there as well? I'm not familiar with that. But if it is, then through further research we can find out. All right, let's get back. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. All right. Ima, are you with us? Or are you still busy, Ima? All right, I'm going to do this because Ima is probably not present, and I don't know if anyone else is that can do that portion. So here we go. Sister Sharon. She says, well, let me put the invite in the room. Now, some of you families, some of you people can come in, hit the link, come in and give your own commandment, say it yourself verbally out loud so everyone will hear your commandment. Or you can just post it and I'll do what I do and I'll read it to the best of my ability. You are to post your commandment and then you are to give an explanation of your commandment behind it. All right, Deuteronomy 22, Sister Sharon. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. That's deep. Did you give an explanation, Sister Sharon? Okay, I don't think she gave an explanation. She says Shabbat Shalom. Okay. Deuteronomy 22:4. That's what it was. All right. Ishi. She says her commandment is Vayikra, Leviticus 19:29. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. Her explanation. No matter how financially tough the situation is, a family or just a woman herself should not stoop so low to sell herself for money. It is a defilement toward her body and will bring wickedness, adultery, among many other things into the nation. With all the strip clubs, only fangirls, and many other avenues women use to sell their bodies, we can see the wickedness all around. May the Most High be praised. And I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Brahm is present? Oh, no, for real? Brahm? Oh, man, Brahm is present. Shabbat Shalom, Brother Brahm. Haven't seen you in a long time. Haven't heard from you in a minute. Well, you came in class the other week and popped in for a little bit, but it's cool. May the Most High be praised. Good to have your presence. All right. And I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree with that all around. All right. Are there any other questions? Any other comments? Any other have a commandment? Anyone have a commandment to post? Y'all playing games today. No activity. Nobody moving. Nobody getting busy. Come on. What are we doing, y'all? Are we going to post our commandment? All right. Nobody's posting commandments. All right. We might as well get started with the lesson because ain't nobody putting no commandments up. And today's lesson will be coming out of the book of Genesis. Genesis won the vote. Nobody was voting for anything, but the ones that we did have up was Genesis. And we're going to be reading today in Genesis, the 13th chapter. Do we have any volunteers to do the reading today? Do we have any volunteers to do the readings? Let me pull up my book. Genesis, I'm sorry, not Genesis 13, Genesis 14. We're going to be reading Genesis 14 today. I'm just getting my computer situated so I can see both the screen. Oh, okay. Sister Sharon has her explanation present for us. Let me go to her commandment first and read her commandment again. And then after I read her commandment, I'll post. All right, I'll post the other portion. It says, thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. And her explanation for that is big. Wait a minute. I think I missed something. That portion stood out to me today because I believe that the highest form of community slash village is determined on how we dwell, deal with each other. It also pinpoints how the Creator is big on how we're supposed to be toward our brothers and sisters. We're to protect one another, livelihood, children, etc., etc. She's absolutely correct. She's absolutely correct. And that is how a community, a village, is supposed to operate. Brothers and sisters are supposed to look out for each other. May the Most High be praised. Mr. Otter, Shabbat Shalom, Mr. Otter. Shabbat Shalom. All right, I need a reader for today. Sister Ornita, if you're volunteering, if you're coming up, please hit the link so we can come in here and get this thing moving, because nobody's giving up their commandments. Thank you for that, Sister Sharon. Thank you very much. Tell your husband I said shalom, please. Slow motion is how we're going to win today, right? That's right. Well, y'all got me feeling like I'm picking teeth. This portion of our day, we all post a commandment, and then we give the explanation of the commandment underneath. So if you have a commandment for us, now would be the time to do so. Okay, Bati, where you at, Bati? I see that portion. Did you post something that I missed? Let me go. Did you post something else that I missed? Yeah, I don't see the first part of your commandment. So I'm going to read this. Maybe I'm off. I thought they wanted to talk about the poly too, but when it was time to vote, nobody brought their votes. Nobody wouldn't vote properly, so they lost. Had they came in at 3:59, like I told everybody, and cast their vote, we would have been talking about the poly. So what we're going to have to do is talk about the poly next week because it lost the vote. There was only one voted for poly. My Isha was the only one voted for poly. Everybody else, my other Isha and Sister Ornit, voted for Genesis. When I asked for the people to vote what they wanted to do, nobody else gave any other opinions. So Genesis overruled. So that's where we at. If she gives birth to a daughter for 2 weeks, the woman will be unclean as during her menstrual. Then she must wait 66 days to be purified from her bleeding. She is absolutely correct. But let's okay. What she's quoting is the book of Leviticus, the 12th chapter. Leviticus 12, and I guess verse 5. And this is what she's speaking of. If a woman has a child, okay, here she is. I feel purification is important for the woman. It's her time of reflection, and I feel that the purification period is longer for a girl because giving birth to a girl takes more out of you, and I totally agree. May the Most High be praised. Absolutely. And you would know because you just had a little girl, so you would know. That's right. It's 80 days for a girl. So if it's 80 days for a girl, how many days for a male? 40 days for a male. There you go. May the Most High be praised. Absolutely. All right. All right. Sister Ornit. Shabbat Shalom, Sister Ornit.
Shabbat Shalom.
Did you want to give your commandment before we get started?
No.
Okay. Let's rock and roll, y'all. Sister Anita ain't want to give her commandment, but it's okay. That's right, 44 male. That's right. May the Most High be praised. And during that time of her purification, when a woman bring forth a child, she should not go to the holy place, and she shouldn't touch any clean thing, holy thing. She shouldn't touch any holy thing. So if the man who is the father of that child, now that's the difficult part. If the man who is the father of that child wants to go to the temple, then the day before, when the sun goes down from sunset, first he should bathe his clothes, but after the sun goes down that night, all the way until the next morning, he shouldn't be anywhere around his wife. He shouldn't sit where she sit where she lie. He shouldn't touch her. She shouldn't touch him. None of those things should exist. He should separate himself from her so that he doesn't become ritually unclean. Because if he becomes ritually unclean by coming in contact with his unclean wife, then he can't come to the house of worship either. Because you shouldn't come to the house of worship in an unclean condition. These are just some of the things in Israel today that so many of our people miss out on. You shouldn't go to any assembly of worship where people are striving to worship and praise the Most High, and you're in an unclean state because you're contributing to their ignorance. And that can be counted as sin against you. These are the types of things that we shouldn't do. If we know a thing, we don't bend the rules for that thing just to accommodate others. I mean, if it's life-threatening, then who can tell you what to do? But if it's not life-threatening, it's just because I want to be a part of something, but my wife is unclean or I'm unclean, you can't be a part of that spiritual ritual ceremony if you truly believe and serve the Most High to the best of your ability. But there are some who don't, who will go in any condition. There are some who don't have the understanding that I just explained to you today. Therefore, they'll do things that they don't know is it good or bad. They're not sure. They're not aware. And I'm sure some of you may didn't know that this was an unclean thing. So now you know. That don't mean you can't zoom into a recording like this, a show like what do they call this thing right here that we got? A broadcast like this. Doesn't mean you can't do that. But what it means is you can't go to the house of worship in an unclean state. You shouldn't do that. May the Most High be praised. All right. Any other commandments? And anyone want to put up a commandment before we get started with the book of Genesis? No? All right. Well, then let's get started. The time is now 4:38. We getting started early today. I guess they said they want to get out of here today. So we getting started a little early. All right. So remember, family, we left off in the book of Genesis chapter 13. We left off in Genesis 13. And remember in 13, Abraham had just came out of the land of Egypt. And with his wife, where they took his wife to be his sister, but found out later that it wasn't his sister, it was actually his wife. So Pharaoh, who was about to lay with her, had to give her back. And he did before he defiled her. And what happened after that, he gets with his nephew Lot. They come back and it mentions that Abraham had all these riches. But Abraham, being the type of man he was, he didn't keep his riches to himself. He shared. He helped. He participated in the wealth of others. So he helped his nephew out, or some kind of way, his nephew came up and had a lot of other things. Like Abram had. Abram had cattle and men servants. Well, Lot had cattle and men servants as well. Well, these two will often get into arguments and over what belonged to who and why, and each one of them had different masters. Well, that was a problem. So what they had to do was they had to separate from being with each other. One had to go on one side and one had to go on another side. So Abram says to Lot, listen, this is how we're going to remedy this. You can choose whatever side you want. If you want that side, then I'll go this way. If you want this side, then I'll go that way. Abram was a humble man. Abram just wanted to fix the problem. He did not want to cause any strife or confusion between him and his nephew. He didn't want that to happen. But his nephew wasn't as humble as Abram was. His nephew didn't have the discipline that Abram had. His nephew was a good man, good young man, but he didn't have the ability to do what Abram had the ability to do. So Abram came up with this decision. Lot made his decision to go this way, and the two parted their ways. You read about Lot later on in the 19th chapter of Genesis. We're actually going to read about Lot right now in a few minutes. Eventually, what happened was that separation, and with the wonderful thing that I like about it so much is that Abram did not allow family or that situation to get in the way between him and family. He understood the importance of family. So that's why I named this lesson, The Things We Are Willing to Sacrifice for Family. Abram is over here minding his own business, doing his own thing, maintaining his livelihood with his Nashim, or his Isha at the time. I don't think he had Nashim at this time. Yeah, he did. Well, Hagar wasn't his wife at this particular time. She was his wife, Sarah's handmaiden. And then eventually she's going to become his wife. But Abram was handling and maintaining his business, doing what he do. And then someone's going to run up on him and tell him, hey, your nephew got kidnapped. And Abram automatically go into sacrificing his own life for his family. Would you be willing to sacrifice your life for your family today? Especially somebody you just had a separation with, you felt like we got to break up. You got to go your way. I got to go my way. Someone you had just had a negative interaction with. Would you be willing to do as our father Abram did at that particular time and risk your own life, your own freedom, ain't nobody bothering me over here. I'm cool. I ain't got, that's on him. He chose to go that way. That's on him. A lot of us don't understand the importance of blood. A lot of us don't understand the importance of sacrificing for family. We talked about earlier about true love, and that's exactly what true love is all about. Sacrifice. You're willing to go without to make sure that someone else has. The only reason why you will be willing to do that is because you love that individual. You ain't never got to tell them, I love you. You ain't never got to say those words. They should be able to see that through your actions. If you got 2 pairs of shoes and that other brother ain't got no shoes and you give him 1 pair of your shoes, why is that? If you got 2 shirts and this other brother don't have no shirt and he's walking around shirtless, or he got a paper bag over his chest, and you got 2 shirts and you give that brother 1 of your shirts, why is that? Because a lot of us don't understand and appreciate what love is. A lot of us don't know what love is. And this could be a perfect stranger we're talking about. You could be walking in a supermarket and see a man laying down on the ground that ain't got no shoes on his feet. And you got 8 pair of shoes. How would it hurt you? Oh, because that's my favorite pair, Prince. All my shoes, they got a special significance to me. Each one means something different to me. But this man ain't got none, and you got 12. Plus you got a pair of boots and a pair of sneakers. Can he get one? Well, you going to make me do that? Because we don't understand what love is. Love don't come with attachments. You ain't going to always benefit when you're expressing love. Matter of fact, most of the time you won't benefit in the expression of love. Most of the time in the expression of love, it appears as if you almost as a man, what I'm talking about, it will appear almost as if you're not getting a fair shake and a fair end out of the deal because you're giving way more than you're receiving back. But that's all a part about being a man. That's all a part about being a man. And a lot of us who have not achieved that level of manhood, we think it's like it used to be, I'll give and I receive. But being a man, being a husband, being a father, no, you'll give, don't receive nothing. You'll give, don't receive nothing. You'll give, and don't receive nothing. And then finally, you'll get a smile. And somebody might give you a thank you. And then you give some more. And you giving because out of pureness of your soul, you're giving because you know it's your responsibility, your duty, and you love everything that you create. You don't have to walk around talking about, I love you, I love you. Every time y'all part, you got to give her a kiss and say, I love you. You might give her a kiss, but you ain't got to keep telling. Matter of fact, I would tell you not to keep telling her you love her because it will create a different spirit in her mind. But you must show her your love. You must show your sons your love. My son, one of my sons here in Philly, there is nothing that I have that he can't have access to. He might need to be regulated a little bit because he might get out of control with it, but I've never seen that. I've never seen him get out of control with anything. If he needs something, he'll tell me he's going to take it and he'll go do what he do. He has passcodes. He got usernames. He got everything because I hide nothing from him. He's a man. And I hide nothing from him. I separate. I'll tell him things before I would tell my Nasheen most of the time. And I make sure that he understands things because he's my son. And without that relationship, what do we have? Abram was willing to risk his life for his blood. And it wasn't his son, but yet he raised him from his youth, so he was just like a son. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. For his son or his nephew, Lot, to betray him would have been something you have to look at a lot of different ways and try to understand where a lot is coming from, but there will be no explanation because that man provided provisions for your life from your youth to your adulthood. So Sister Ornette, let's get started. Prince laid a little bit out on the background and let's see what we got. You ready, sis?
Okay.
All right. Now we're about to mention the names of some kings, and you might want to write these names down if you're a Bible thumper and you're serious about history and knowledge. These kings and these places are places that went down in history. Not all of these kings, but Chedorlaomer is just definitely one of these kings that went down in history. Let's read on, please.
Reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 1. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Birsha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and king of Bela, which is Zoar.
Now, anybody remember right offhand what Zoar is? Does anybody remember Zoar? Nobody remembers Zoar? Okay. Zoar was one of the places that when Lot came out of Sodom, he fled to and stayed there for a period of time before he fled to the mountains. Zoar, that's a famous place. Now, all these places that was just mentioned are going to go to war against another. Well, Chedorlaomer, and I believe it's 5 kings, went to war against Zor and Sodom and Gomorrah, and I believe it was one more place, Zeboim and Siddim. So he went to war against them. Now, this had to be a magnificent army to overtake 4 cities. It had to be an army of a magnificent size. You see? So keep all this in mind. We're talking about Abram, who was a regular man with about 400 or 500, I think it was 300 men that he could posse them together to get something to take place on his favor. But you got to think about this for a minute. Abram was able to gather 300 men to go and risk their lives on his behalf. So that tells you a little bit about the character of Abram. So, I mean, y'all, sometimes you got to think. Now, Abram has surrounding cities that he worked with to do whatever he does. And he was able to send out a call to some of those men and rally up 300 men, I believe it was, to go and assist him to risk their lives to bring back his nephew that they probably never even met, don't even know much about. But the simple fact that a great man named Abram asked you to do something, where's that type of love at today? Man, this is something that's missing in the earth today. Where's that type of love and respect and honor today amongst men? Where's it at? You make a phone call, tell somebody you need $15,000 and they don't want to help you. And they got 50,000, 60, 80,000 just put away somewhere. And you tell them, I'm in hurting, I'm in pain, I'm going to lose my house, my car. Listen, I'll pay you back slowly in increments. And they will tell you, that's not my problem. That's your problem. But you just said you loved me when we got off the phone the last time. When we saw each other, we embraced and we hugged. Where's that love at now? I'll tell you something, bro. We got a long way to go to get to the real discipline of manliness, the real discipline of brotherhood. Believe me, we do. Just the simple discipline of being a creative servant. The things we are willing to risk and to sacrifice for family. You called me brother. So if I'm your brother, what are you willing to sacrifice for me? What are you willing to do for me? Because I call you brother too, but I'm out here and I'm ready to get it in for you. But when the tables turn, where are you? You're gone. You're off. You're not able to be reached. You don't answer your phone. That's no brother. You got to be careful evaluate about the people you have in your circle. Abram ran into a situation where he needed men in his team to help him to get back his nephew. And watch what he did. Read on, please.
Verse 3. All these were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the Salt Sea. 12 years they served Chedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. And in the 14th year came Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaim and in Ashtaroth, Karnaim, and the Zuzim in Ham, and the Emim in Shavith, Kirithaim, and the Horites in their Mount Seir, unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to En Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwelt in Hazazon Tamar.
They were whipping up people from left to right all over in the Middle East. They was knocking them out all over Africa. They was knocking them out, these 5 kings. So read on, let's see what happened.
Verse 8. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, the same is Zoar. And they joined battle with them in the Vale of Siddim, with Chedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar. 4 kings with 5.
Against 5. These 4 kings was battling against 5 kings. Read on, please.
Verse 10. And the Vale of Siddim was full of slime pits. And the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there. And
Some of the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah, some of the people and the kings and all his army fell in the slime pits. Read on.
And they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their food supplies and went their way. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods and departed.
So they took Lot. Now they could have conquered all that stuff if they would have left Lot alone. They would have still been alive. But because they touched Lot, and Lot belonged to Abram, Abram wasn't going to have that. The Creator's blessings that was on Abram fell on Lot for the preservation of his life. You follow me? It never says that Lot left the Most High and began doing idolatry. It's just that Lot didn't have what he needed to maintain what he had in the past when he walked with his father, or his brother, his uncle, Abram. When Lot left Abram, his whole life became different. You know why? Because he started doing things his way. He felt like he had enough to go out on his own and do it his way. Well, eventually it catches up to you doing it your way. A lot of people don't understand how important it is that you stay bonded with a righteous man of the Most High. A lot of people don't understand. See, in the book of Isaiah, the 4th chapter, those women understood the need to have a righteous man over them. A lot of men need righteous men over them, but they don't understand that because the Western mind has triggered something within us to make us rebel against authority. Rather, that authority looks like you, which you should be quite comfortable with if they earned the right to be an authority figure. Rather, that authority figure look like you or anything else, our people have an issue with authority. But we don't have an issue, according to the ancient scriptures, of us showing or allowing authority figures that look like us rule over us. Matter of fact, that was one of the commandments of the Most High, not to put anybody that's not of you over you. But here we have people that's like us, that's over us, and we got a problem with that. So we got to break off. We got to run. We got to do our own. We got to fly. And that's exactly what Lot did. Lot broke off. He did his own. He had to run. He had to fly. Of course, Abram initiated it, but because too much strife and contention was going on in the community. So they couldn't have that. You got to go. And that's what he did. But he left with Abram's blessing. And the Most High allowed him to go. The Most High protected his life, but because of his actions, and this is what a lot of people don't understand, to be successful in life is going to be based on what you do in life. And if you're somebody who doesn't do much in life, you're not going to have much in life. Unless you hit the lottery or something, but chances of that happening ain't going to happen. And even if it did happen, because you don't do much in life, you won't know how to maintain it. So more than likely, if you're broke and you're not doing much, you're going to stay broke. But if you're a go-getter, your initiative is to build, to grow, to make things happen, then you're going to get there. But there's not a lot of people like that in the earth. Most people want things to fall in their lap. But let's see. Let's move on. Let's see how Lot was. Read on, please.
Verse 13.
Tell us where you at. Chapter and verse, please.
Reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 13. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew.
Now let's think about this. Let's imagine this for a minute. This one had escaped. What did he escape? Excuse me. He escaped the slaughter. He escaped the war. He was running for his life. Why did he come to Abram, the Hebrew? What was the reason? If I'm running for my life, why would I run to Abram? Probably somebody he wasn't even aware of, had a relationship with, but he went to Abram. Now remember, Sodom and Gomorrah was full of homosexuals. Remember that. These people's state of being wasn't what the Most High was approving of. Don't forget that. It didn't just start when the angels came. That thing was going on for generations. That many people that was outside the door, it had to have been going on for a period of time. But now one escaped and came and told Abram, the Hebrew, what had taken place. Why? Because the Most High was involved from beginning to end. That's why. That man could have just ran and kept on running, didn't have to tell nobody. Just been thankful for his life and went and started over somewhere. But he ran to and told Abram the Hebrew. And let's see what he said.
Continue in chapter 13. Continue in verse 13. For he dwelt by the oaks of Mamre, the Amorite brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram.
They were Abram's friends. Now listen to me. They were by the oaks of, he was by the oaks of Mamre, the Amorite. They're not Israelites. These are other nationalities of people. The Amorite, brother of Ishkal and of Aner. These were not Israelites. There was other nationalities of people. And they were friends with our father, Abram. And our father, Abram, had an association. He wasn't a rich man and not sharing. He was a rich man that earned the respect of others. And watch what happens, please.
Verse 14. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants.
When Abram heard that his brother, who's his brother?
Lot.
Lot is his nephew,
Mm-hmm.
but he's his blood.
Mm-hmm.
He called him his brother. That's deep, man. See, brotherhood, when you say to somebody, you my brother, that goes beyond just blood. This person doesn't have to have your blood, but he's grafted into your family. Don't take it lightly when a man says, you my brother. And don't be one of those guys that say, well, I never called you my brother. That's somebody that's dealing in wickedness. They haven't grown up yet. They haven't reached their level of maturity. Well, I never said you was my brother, but you called me your brother, so we all right. That's not how this goes. If you're dealing with a brother, a man on the level of brotherhood, that supersedes everybody else that you might like or that's in that circle that you might know. If that person in that circle is not your brother, then you really don't owe him anything. But the one you call your brother, that means that you're willing to risk your life for that individual need be. If he's on righteous grounds and something happens to him, then you go all out for him. See, y'all got to understand the difference and don't take that term lightly. I don't. If I call you brother, and I ain't talking about, yo, what's up, bro? Or you're a brother, fellow Israelite, you're a brother. I'm not talking about that. If I call you my brother, if you come into that circle brotherhood with me, all you need to do is ask and it's there. Matter of fact, if I see you need, I'm going to meet you as long as I see that I'm a brother to you. You follow me? And that's important. Reciprocation is very important in maintaining a brotherhood. If somebody's just always receiving out of that brotherhood, but never giving to show themselves worthy of brotherhood, then why are they there? What is the purpose? But if somebody in that brotherhood, you not need and he not needing, and y'all cool and y'all still maintain that brotherhood, then y'all there, y'all got it. If somebody happens to come, create a forbid, into a bad situation, they know they got at least one brother that they can depend on, and that's you. One who don't just say brother and don't mean it, but one who really means it. Read on, please, sis.
Verse 14. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house.
318 of them. He had, now I need y'all to pay attention to this.
Mm-hmm.
Abram wasn't no king, was he?
Mm.
He had 318 servants that walked with him, that was willing to risk their lives for him. I don't think y'all understand. Abram was a hell of a man. But not just Abram being a hell of a man, them 318 men that he had with him, they had our brotherhood, and it was a real brotherhood where the brothers was willing to die for each other. We ain't got that today. These niggas playing today. Y'all heard what I said? They playing out here talking about you, my brother, and 5 minutes later they talking about you behind your back. That ain't no brotherhood. That's not what brotherhood is all about. You call them and ask them to go to war with you. They want to know why you did this. Oh, we might have did it. Could have did this. You know, we shouldn't. No. And then they bring up things that happened 3 years ago. So that they ain't got to be willing to go out to war with you. Or they're willing to sacrifice something that you need that they can provide. Because it would discomfort them. That's not what brotherhood is about. But what things are you willing to sacrifice for your family? We said brothers. So if you said brothers, then what are you willing to sacrifice for your brothers? Did you sacrifice some comfort? Would you be willing to sacrifice some comfort for your brother so your brother can have some peace? Would you be willing to sacrifice your car, your home? Because your brother traveled from out of town, he ain't got nowhere to stay. Will you open your doors and let your brother stay in your house with you? Will you trust your brother enough to say, hey, bro, those 2 rooms, they're yours. You, your wife, your children, y'all stay right there. That's yours. Anything in the house you need, you go get. Feel free. You know, go in the refrigerator, get what you need. Anything. Here's a car key for the Bentley outside. Take that if you need. My pickup truck, take that if you need. Whatever you need is how you treat your brother. Abraham did that plus much more. Plus that, and you're right, Asa, brother Asa, you supposed to be here. Where you at, man? Brother Asa is actually right. Abram was armed and dangerous. He walked around with a machete, but he was humble. He wasn't arrogant. He was a man. And any man that is a man is a dangerous man. Read on, please. Come on, sis. Let's get it going. 318 of them.
Continue in verse 14. 318, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided his men against them, he and his servants by night, and smote them.
Watch, he was intelligent. He only had 318 men. 318. And he divided them at night and went in and took over thousands of men. He had to be. They took all these cities. So they had to be. It was 5 kings. Earlier, you heard me when Brother Asa brought up his commandment about multiplying women. My estimation was at least 1,000, 10,000 horses. Each one of those horses have to have a rider. So if you multiply that by 5, it's a lot of people. But Abram used wisdom because he was outnumbered. He used wisdom and he crept in at night with his 318 men and overtook the enemies and got back all that they took. Watch this. Read on, please.
Continue in verse 15. And pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people.
He brought all that back from the war. Actually, you got to think about this for a minute. in the beginning of chapter 13, it says Abraham had plenty money, plenty cattle, and plenty men. So he was already wealthy. How much more wealth do you think he just acquired from the booty that he got from the war? Would have made him so much more wealthier. I need y'all to watch how my father get down, how my father move. Watch how he moves. Watch what he says and watch what he does. He took everything that was stolen from about 4 different nations. That's a lot of wealth. Read on. Let's see.
Verse 17. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's down.
Now watch this. Sis, I need you to read that again, but be close, read it slow. Watch this, family, because what we're already embarking on is something very important, something that has been mistaught for many of years. Read on.
Verse 17. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High Elohim.
Stop. For years, people have been misunderstanding this scripture, but Prince is here to give you a little bit of light so you can see, so you can understand. And here we go. What is the job of a priest? Does anybody know what, just briefly, what is the job of a priest? A priest's job is to bless the people. Is that right? A priest's job is to intervene between the creator and the people, to bring blessings and gifts and prayers, make prayers on the behalf of the people. This is the priest's job. Now, let's watch this. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread. This Melchizedek is bringing out bread and wine. He was a priest of the Most High. First, I want to make notice to this, family. This man is not an Israelite. He's not an Israelite, but yet scriptures call him a priest of the Most High. Salem, he was in Canaanite. He was more than likely, Melchizedek was a Canaanite. He was a priest of Salem. And Salem is one of the ancient names of Jerusalem. Salem. All right. So now Canaanites inhabited Jerusalem before we did. So Melchizedek is more than likely a pagan. Not a pagan, more than likely a Gentile. Let's say he's not a Hebrew Israelite. Okay. He's more than likely not even Hebrew. He, at that time, was a priest of the Most High Elohim, a priest of the Creator, without question. So he's coming out bringing wines and gifts. Now watch this and read on, please.
Verse 19. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High Elohim.
He blessed him. Who blessed who?
He blessed
the priest blessed Abram. Am I right so far?
Cain.
Priest blessed Abram. He said, Blessed be Abram, servant of the Most High, I believe it said. Read on.
Possessor of heaven and earth.
Possessor of heaven and earth, describing the great attributes of the Almighty. Read on.
And blessed be the Most High.
And blessed be the Most High. Who's talking?
The priest.
Who's doing all the action? Who's doing all the action, family? Watch it. It's going to reveal itself to you. Who's talking? Who's doing the action? Who brought the bread and the wine? And then what the next verse says.
Who has delivered thy enemies into thy hand.
Mhm.
And he gave him tithes of all.
Now, some books will say, and Abram gave him a tenth of everything. That's a lie. Abram didn't give him a tenth of anything. Melchizedek paid respect to Abram. There's a difference there. But your book might say, and Abram gave him a tenth of everything, and that's not what it wasn't true. That's not what the Hebrew says. The Hebrew says, and he gave him a tenth of all. Read on, please, and let's see what's going on.
Verse 21. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, give me the persons and take the goods to thyself.
The king of Sodom, he ain't in no position to be doing any bargaining, but he still wanted to be king. So what he says is to Abram, give me the people and you can take all the goods. And watch what Abram says.
Verse 22. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto the Creator, the Most High, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldst say, I have made Abram rich.
Man, you're talking about somebody walking in their integrity. So much was just revealed through that right there, and we don't even know it. So I'm going to try my best to break it down to you so you'll understand in a better light. To begin, Abram never wanted any man to say that he made him rich, because Abram was wealthy. Anything that belonged to the king of Sodom, Abram said, I won't touch it. You can have it all. The women, your goods, everything that belonged to your people, you can take with you. But I want you to pay attention to something that's more important than that. Abram entered into a covenant with the Creator. Scripture never said that earlier, but it says it right here. He says, I have lifted my hand to the Most High Elohim, Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. He entered into a covenant with the Creator. And then I can just imagine the words that he used to talk to the Supreme. He says that I would not take a thread or a sandal strap or anything that is yours. Here's a secret. When Abram approached the Creator in prayer, Abram says to the Most High, as we can testify right here, Creator, I need this victory. Please preserve my life and preserve the life of the 318 men that you sent with me, but yet give us the victory. And in exchange for this victory, this is what I'm willing to give to you. I promise you that anything that belonged to the king of Sodom, I won't touch. Because I'll never want him to say that I got rich off of his wealth. All that I've obtained, Creator, has come from you and you alone, and I acknowledge that. So what is Prince saying right now? Prince just gave you a way to approach the Most High when you're in prayer and you're in need. Make a covenant in exchange with the Creator. Tell the Most High what you're willing to do, the things you are willing to sacrifice for your family. Tell the Most High the things that you are willing to do if he favors you and grants your petition. See, a lot of us don't know how to ask of the Most High. We don't know how to approach the Most High. We don't know how to say to the Creator, Creator, I'm willing to sacrifice. Do you know how hard it is for a man to come back with great riches from an onslaught of the enemy and not keep it all to himself? Now, whether Abram kept the other jewels and the other riches, I don't know, because it was 4 nations that was destroyed. He might have, but I don't know. But I know for a certainty that he promised the Creator, and according to his wordings, that he would not touch anything that belonged to the king of Sodom. Why do you think, if he did, and let's think about this for a minute, why did he single out Sodom from everybody else's in their belongings? Because the Sodomites, everything that they owned had spirits on it. These people was homosexual. These people practiced all types of men on men type things. Their spirits was in their possessions. Abram wouldn't want to bring no mess like that and call it holy, call it righteous, call it sacred. You can't do that. So Abram already entered into prayer and said, Creator, I know how these people live. I don't want nothing that belongs to that man. Nothing. He can keep it. I swear to you, Most High, allow us to be victorious. Allow me to get back my nephew and defeat Chedorlaomer and his friends. And I promise you, as sure as I liveth, everything that I have that came from that man will go back to that man. He was very particular. He didn't say, watch how it says, he didn't say that he would give back all of those things. He only said everything that belonged to you. I would not take a thread or a sandal strap of anything that is yours. He said his. There was other nations that their wealth was plundered that Abram had free access to once he killed Chedorlaomer and the other men. Remember what he said. He said, no, let me pull apart now. He returned from the defeat. Now watch this. Of Chedorlaomer, where he was with him, the king of Sodom went out to meet him in the valley. Okay, maybe I got to go up to the next verse. Okay, there we go. You ready? Verse 16, it says, then he brought back all the possessions and also brought back his kinsman, his brother, his nephew, Lot, with all his possessions and the women and the people. So he brought back all the possessions that these 5 kings plundered from these 4 kingdoms. And actually, it was a little bit more than 4. You understand? But he only promised not to take that which belonged to the king of Sodom, because he didn't want that homosexual spirit on nothing pertaining to him. Nothing. So he said, you can have back all your stuff because I don't want it. Now, I know y'all heard this. I know y'all read this. I know y'all done seen this 1,000 times. But believe me, spirituality is important in your development, in your transformation, in your relationship with the Creator. You don't want nobody to be able to boast and say they did something for you unless they're a holy man of the Most High, unless they're a servant of the Most High and you're walking with them. That's a different story. And even then, it's not them that's doing it because they won't be that arrogant. It'll be the Almighty that's doing it. Abram set it up so that he would know, he would say that nobody made me wealthy but the Creator. 13, in the very first verse in chapter 13, it says, Abram had great wealth. He was already getting it. He had 318 men that grew up in his house. That's like us down in Beulah land. We got this little community down here, and then 18 years later, we got about 40 babies that grew up. And they're 18 years old, men ready for war. Believe me, if they grow up under my supervision, they're going to be sharp because we ain't going to have that. They're going to be sharp. They're going to know how to fight. They're going to know how to think. They're going to know how to worship. They're going to know how to pray. They're going to know how a man is supposed to take a wife and how a man is supposed to show respect and honor to elders and leadership and women. They're going to know all these things because we're not having it no other way. That's not the way we move. We had a visitor the other day came onto the land with just a little bit we got. We got about 3 families that live there besides mine. 3 families besides mine. So it's very little of us. So, and now it's even less than that. It's less than that now. So we had a visitor that came on the land, and this visitor came around, Uncle Kwesi. That's his name, Uncle Kwesi, we call him. So he came down. It was our first time meeting Uncle Kwesi. So Uncle Kwesi get in the car, and he rides to the store with us. He spends some time with us. We go to the supermarket, and he's watching all the things that we do and how we communicate. We didn't know he was doing all this, but he told us later. Uncle Crazy, he might be on this call right now because he got the invite to come earlier, but he didn't get the invite for this class. He got the invite for the earlier class, which he might have heard, and he might be here right now. I don't know. So anything I'm saying, he can bear record of. So Uncle Crazy, this was his first time coming to Butterland. He calls me the other morning, about 3-4 days after he left. I mean, he must have talked to me for a good 30, 40 minutes about how excited he was to meet us. How he, out of his words, if I can quote him verbatim, it was something like, I ain't never seen black men act and conduct themselves like y'all. I ain't never seen black men act and conduct themselves like y'all. Y'all have me bewildered. He was in amazement, and we just was being ourselves. We were just being who we are. You know, we wasn't putting on no front, putting on no act. We was being who we are, and he was taken back by it. So much that he called me, what was it, early in the morning he called me, Ema? Early in the morning, late at night, one of them odd times. I'm like, what this man doing? Yeah, it was late at night. It was like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning or something. I said, well, what is you doing? Uncle Crazy got to be a good 70, 75 maybe. What you doing up this late? You know, that's my question. But he was up and he called and he had to share that news. But see, this is just the beginning of where we're going to be. This is just the beginning. So if others are recognizing this in our beginnings, if we stay to the plan and stay scripted like we're doing, how much more powerful and significant do you think it's going to be in the very near future, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when those young babies get to be 18 and 20 years? How do you think it's going to be then? If we stay to the script and keep doing what we're doing and don't let nobody come in to disrupt what we're building. This is important. We have to stay focused. We have to stay focused. Nasik said it earlier. He says something about sometimes you think what you're doing ain't worth much, but others, they just don't say nothing. They get to learn to benefit and appreciate all that you're doing. And they may not never say nothing. We don't need them to say anything. We need them to do some things. So everybody within the sound of my voice, you need to do, say, to do things. And that will show the Most High that you're on his side. Don't just talk about it. Sure, you heard the lessons. You heard what was being said, but actually do. Put these things into works and show the Most High who you are and what you're made out of. Go ahead, sis. Read on, please.
Reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 24. Save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them take their portion.
Now remember Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre? They was his friends. They wasn't the Israelites. They was his friends that he dwelt with, that he lived around. They got together and helped out, and they all got a portion of the reward. So Abram said, listen, I don't want nothing from you, but them brothers that risked their life, give them their portion, and whatever the men that was with me ate, that's what we ate. That's what is going. It's done. But other than that, we don't want nothing from you. And that's the end of that chapter, and it was a wrap. I rest my case. May the Most High be pleased. To the Rabbah. Any questions, family? Let's see. Do we have any questions? Anyone? We're going to end out there. We're going to jump back in Genesis 15 next week, if the Creator permits. It's getting late now. It's getting late. Are there any questions, family? Are there any comments? And Sister Ornette, thank you very much for that reading. Absolutely. And Nabi said that Melchizedek did give him some substance, and that the Most High didn't see Abram leave empty-handed. Absolutely. May the Most High be praised. Imam Havari, great example of King Saul, did not consider that when his time came and he lost his life. May the Most High be praised. Absolutely. She said, we got more time. We got more time. All right, I guess I got to teach again. Beautiful portion. Loved it. Night, night. Oh, well, Imam Havari says she's ready to go too. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Let me check. Let me check for him because Sister Anita had me here all night. All right, it's only a little bit more. Let's go. Let's do 15. All right, let's see. Let's do 15. Sister Anita, you happy now?
Okay.
All right. Imam Habared, please let me know. Is it okay if we do 15? It's not that long. It's like 12 or 13 verses. Is it okay? Okay, let's rock and roll, family. We got the okay. Let's do this. Sister Anita, you ready to rock and roll?
Hey.
All right, let's go.
Reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 1. After these things, the word of the Creator came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram. I am thy shield and thy exceedingly great reward.
Whoa! I don't know if y'all understand. Whoa, whoa, whoa. May the Most High be praised. Listen, y'all. The Creator just told our Father he is his shield. You know what that means? Do anybody fully understand how deep that actually goes to have the Most High as your shield? Let's think about this for a second. What is the purpose of a shield? What do you use a shield for? Usually you use a shield when you're out at war, and you put a shield on your arm, and when you're out at warfare, you use a shield for protection, to protect yourself from the enemies. The Creator just made a covenant, entered into a covenant with Abram to be his shield. That means that no one can harm him. No one and nothing can harm him, to cover him and to protect him completely. This is deep. But in order for the Most High to enter into a covenant like that with you, because this is the kind of confidence we should all have about the Almighty. But the only way that he's going to enter into a covenant like that with you is if you give him of your soul to serve him. That means that you have to deny yourself oftentimes to do the things that are pleasing and right to the Almighty. You follow me? And not a lot of us do that. A lot of us are halfway in, halfway out. When things that benefit us, we're willing to walk with, but when there's a little bit of tension there, a little bit of sacrifice that need to be made on our behalf, like giving somebody the shirt off of our back so they could be covered, we got to think twice about that, or we might not do it at all. May the Most High be praised. Read on, Sister Ornette. I mean, scholars today don't understand the depths of what it means to be the shield of Abram. Read on, please. And remember, Abram is seeing all these things in a vision. Everything that we're about to embark on is coming to our Father in a vision. Read, let's talk.
Verse 2. And Abram said, Most High, my power, what will thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the heir of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus.
What was on Abram's mind?
Mm-hmm.
What was on his mind? The man was 90-something years old. What do you think was on his mind? And then I didn't even mention that he was up in his 80s or 90s when he went to war. Didn't even mention that part. He was an old man. And he outrun them with the young bucks and killing them because the Most High is his shield. Because the Almighty is his protector. The first thing he says to the Almighty, his creator, well, what about me? Because I don't have any children. Can you imagine living to be 90 years old with no children? Can you imagine living to be 90 years old and don't have any children? As a man, I'm speaking about. It may be different for a woman, but as a man to not have made and dropped no seed nowhere, of course, you'll be looking for some children. But if you notice, the Most High never gave him children because probably he never asked. Too busy building. He wasn't home with his wife all the time. He ain't got time to be home with his wife all the time. He was building and providing as a man should. And that's something that people need to start paying attention to. It's going to catch up to you later on in life. Read on, please.
Verse 3. And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
He's saying all of my possessions that you have given me, that you have blessed me with, I don't have the ability to hand it down to my descendants after me. I got to give all that you've given to me to a foreigner. Yes, he was born in my house, but he is not of my blood. And I don't even know if he's Hebrew, but he's not of my blood. Why would you take the things and the blessings from the Most High and just give it to the idol? I can't say he was an idolater. I can't say that he was. More than likely, if he rode that close and he was Abraham's right-hand man, he was worshiping the Most High. As a matter of fact, Eliezer, as a matter of fact, how he prayed to the Creator, he prayed to the power of his master, Abraham. So I would say he was on point spiritually. That's what I would say. And if he had any reservations about his own deity, he never mentioned it. He showed honor and respect to the power of his master, Abraham. And then another thing I want to bring out about that is look how he looks at the man who does everything for him. He calls him master. And my master, Abraham. But then a lot of brothers today got a problem with another man calling another man Abba. That's like crazy. It's like crazy. If he's filling that position, he's filling that title, then he earns the right to be called that. That's how I look at it. But some of us walk around and I ain't never called nobody Abba. He ain't my biological father, or he ain't my blood, my marriage. He ain't getting that from me. You're arrogant, bro. There's no humility in you. Because if a man steps in your life and fulfills a position in your life, then you hold him every bit of respect to honor him, especially when he's your elder. You owe him that in every way. Sister told me that, was it a sister or a brother? Somebody told me they went to visit a congregation. I think it was a brother. Went to visit a congregation not too long ago, and the young man was about 30-something years old, and his wife was about 32, 33 years old, and they were called Abba and Ima. The mother was called Great Mother. I don't know how she got to be Great Mother. She's 30-something years old, but she was called Mother, Great Mother, and the father, the male, was called Abba. He's their spiritual leader of their community. I ain't got no problem with that. None. As long as he's fulfilling the position. When they need, he has to supply. He has to give direction. He had to lead. He had to comfort. He has to cry when they cry. He has to help them to stand up when they need to be able to stand up. He has to do the role of a father, and then he owns all rights and respect. And that's it. And as long as he's fulfilling that, I don't care what his age is, he earned the right to be called Abba. Just that simple. Just don't start praying to him, and then we are all right. You start praying to him, something else taking place. Read on, please.
Verse 4. And behold, the word of the Creator came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own loins shall be thine heir.
The Most High said, you're going to have your own seed. Abraham didn't believe. How, who, me? I'm 90. My wife is 80. How? What you gonna do? I tell it to you like this, family. Sometimes the Most High has something prepared for you in your life, and you don't have any idea what's waiting around the corner for you. Remain diligent with this king and watch how he manifests his power and glory in your life. Watch. Read on, please.
Verse 5. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward the heaven and count the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be.
Your offspring shall be as vast as the numbers of the stars. And we today are as vast as the numbers of the stars. We all over the place. Every nation on earth has us there. Read on, please.
Verse 6. And he believed in the Creator, and he counted it to him for righteousness.
All right. Now, let's move on. I'm going to move on. I don't want to tackle that right now because I'm not prepared for it. Read on, please.
Verse 7. And he said unto him, I am the Most High, who brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldeans, to give thee this land to inherit it. And he said, Most High, my power, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it?
Now watch this. He said, Creator, I need a child. I want a descendant to come after me to inherit all that you have blessed me with. The Most High says, you don't even know what you got to leave to a descendant. Abraham was looking at all the stuff he can see with his eyes. The wealth, the men, the money, the gold, Kesef, the Zahab, the gold, the wealth. Abraham could only see what he knew he had. But the Most High said, I got a whole world of a blessing waiting for you. And you don't even have any idea what I'm about to bless you with. And I say that to every one of you that's struggling in the way of the Most High, but yet falling short and ready to give up. You don't know what the Most High is about to do for you in your life. You don't know it. Just remain loyal to this king. Abram stayed loyal to the Most High no matter what. And the Most High takes him out and says, look upon that land as far as you can see. It's yours. Abram had no idea that the Most High was about to bring such a great blessing in his life. At the most, Abram thought was the Most High was going to say, well, go ahead, I'll give you a son. He says, look, go out and look at the stars. Can you count them? How many stars? How many? That's how your seed is going to be in the earth. Abram had to mean like, how? When I ain't got no children. How is that going to happen? He was bewildered. He was amazed. I'm trying to show you that the Most High is able, no matter what your desires are in righteousness, I'm speaking of, no matter what your desires are, the Most High will surpass that. He will give you what you never imagined. Abram never imagined owning the land of Canaan, but yet he did. Never imagined that. He was only worried about leaving behind what he could see with his eyes, those physical things to his children for an inheritance, but he had none. He asked the Creator for that. And what did the Most High give him? All of this. King Solomon, Shlomo, he asked the Creator for that. And what did the Creator give him? All of this. You got to watch it, family. Be careful what you ask the Most High for, because he might hear you. You say, well, I'm sick. Creator, please heal me, Creator, so that I could get up and take care of my family and go to work and continue to teach your people your truth. And the Most High gave you a whole kingdom, a whole nation, a whole community to rule, to govern after he took the sickness away from you. You didn't ask for all that, but the Most High knew what he had in store for you. This is why we are to walk diligently, faithfully with the Most High. He's the owner and possessor of all things, all souls, all life, all destiny, all past, all future. Everything belongs to him. And whatever he wills it to be, it is. Aye, Asher, aye. Whatever he wills it to be, he is. It is, and it will be done. May the Most High be praised. That's who you're worshiping, family. That's who you're serving. Read on, please.
Verse 9. And he said unto him, take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took all of these, and he took unto him all of these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not.
Now, this is a ritual that our forefathers doing that so many people understand not what's taking place. Something that never happened in Abram's life is about to happen in Abram's life. The Most High is about to enter into a covenant with him. Remember what Abram's request was? That the Most High will give him a son to inherit his name, his gift, to take it throughout the earth. And remember how I said the Most High goes way beyond what you request of him when you are righteous before him. Watch what takes place, but this is going to be a blood covenant that is about to take place. And it's going to be sealed before your eyes. And you read this a whole lot of times, but didn't have no understanding of what was taking place. This is a blood covenant between the Almighty and Abraham, our father, right on the earth. Read that again, sis. Please read on.
Verse 10.
Taking place.
And he took unto him all of these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece against another. But the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a sojourner in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
All the way back then, he talking about us. All the way back then, he was talking about us. Remember, El Roe, the Most High sees all things. He knows. He sees all things. He prophesied to Abram all the way back then that your offspring, your descendants, your biological blood is going to go into a land for 400 years. He's talking about us. Shall go into a land for 400 years and shall be slaves. Watch, read on, please.
Verse 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
That nation whom they will serve, I'm going to bring calamity, turmoil, and pain and suffering upon them. Read on.
Continue in verse 14. And afterward shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy father in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall come here again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full.
So in the 4th generation, we're going to be back in our whole land, in our own land, worshiping the King. Read on, please.
Verse 17. And it came to pass that when the sun went down.
Now here's the sealing of that covenant. And it came to pass when? When the sun went down, as it got dark. Read on.
And it was dark. Behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day, the Creator made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates.
That was almost the entirety of Africa. Read
Mhm.
on.
Verse 19.
The
The
land of the Kenites. Yes.
The Kenites
Yes.
and the Kenizzites and
Yes.
the Adamites
Read on.
and the Hittites,
Uh-huh.
Jebusites, and
Uh-huh.
the Rephaim
Oh,
and
get it.
the Amorites.
We
and
had
the
no idea
Canaanites.
that we was about to inherit all that.
Mhm.
Abram had no idea that when he asked the Most High for a son, the Most High said, I'm going to give you a son, but I'm going to give you hundreds of millions of people to follow you after you that all come from your loins. And I'm going to give you all this land to possess it. Now, your children is going to be a little disrespectful, so I'm going to need to send them into captivity for 400 years. But then I'm going to bring them all back. This is deep. All this was prophesied many years ago. Did you finish with those people, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Girgasites, and the Jebusites? Basically, the land of the Canaanites.
Mhm.
Ham's land. We inherited it all. And it don't belong to no European. That's not their land. Abram looked just like us. Our forefather, our blood, our people. That land belongs to us. May the Most High be praised. When it says afflict and serve, it means the same thing. For 400 years. Because to serve somebody is to be afflicted, show the type of servitude that you was receiving. Okay? Whew. Man, this is deep. This is deep, man. This is some really, really deep stuff. When you take the time and really evaluate all the things that's being said. So we did a whole nother chapter. There's so much being said here, family. We got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. Are there any other questions or comments before we close out, family? And I would pray that you all really listen to these words today, that you've learned some things and how to approach the Most High, when you're in need. You'll be willing to offer something up in exchange for what you're requesting from him. Something is in my spirit I want to say, but I don't know if you guys are ready to receive that type of power. And what I really want to get into, and maybe I'll make a lesson out of it. But in prayer, when you request something of the Creator, everything that you receive, there's something that's requested of you. Everything that you put out and you request of the Most High to do for you, there's something that you have to do in exchange. So you have to, the good thing is if you are able to determine what that thing is, and you just ask that. But there's nothing that's given without a requirement. And you have to understand that. All right. Are there any other questions? All right, I have one. Maisha has a question. Were there any other captivities that lasted 400 years? And was the Most High talking about this captivity right now? He had to have been talking about this captivity because this is the longest captivity that we've had. The Egyptian captivity, I don't know how long that lasted, but I don't believe it was 400 years. It was several generations of people. It probably was about 200-300 years, but I don't think it was 400 years. This is the only one that I know. This is the longest captivity that we've ever had. This one right here that I'm aware of. And it has to be. Now, let me explain this to you so that everyone will understand. 400 years don't mean 400 years exact. It means in the 400th year. So it could be 490 years. It could be 480 years, but it does mean before the 500th year, because it's in that 400-year time span. Like when you read about Noah having his son, Ham, and Japheth, he did all that in his 600th year. He was 600 years old when he did that. He was in his 600th year. He wasn't 700 at that time. So anywhere within his 600-year span was when he had those 3 sons. All right. Ema said we were in Egypt for about 200 years. May the Most High be praised. That's right, sis. To whom much is given, much is required. Absolutely. And that's just the way it goes. That's right. And most of the time in Egypt, we were uncomfortable because we were being whipped, beaten, abused, everything. We were being afflicted in Egypt as well. And we were definitely afflicted here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was the worst captivity we ever had. The Babylonian captivity was for 70 years. The Babylonian captivity with Nebuchadnezzar was like 70 years. So we've had many captivities. A lot of the captivities we had, we were still allowed to stay in our homeland. But then we began to have captivities when they took us out of our homeland. $265 years. Okay, may the Most High be praised. Now you see how I ain't heard from one of y'all's all day, but when they had something to contribute, they got in there, and I like that. And that's what I'm talking about. When you see a need, fill the void, and that's how we are to do it. May the Most High be praised. Okay. Are there any other questions or comments, family? I really appreciate you all for participating and being a part of this and helping it to be a great success. Now, please, family, before we go, please like and please take the time to share this video to your social media page. You can hit the share button. If you got Facebook, put Facebook. Instagram, puts Instagram, Messenger, and message it to all the people you want to send it to. However you want to do it, family, but we need people to hear these messages. It is extremely important that people today who's coming into the understanding that they are Hebrew by blood, that they understand how to properly serve the Creator. The title of the lesson today was, what are you willing? The things we are willing to sacrifice for our family. And our father Abram, he actually showed us what he was willing to sacrifice for his family. But my question is, what are you willing to sacrifice for your family? When we started the lesson, a lot of you wasn't here when the lesson first started. I brought out a little principle about a lot of females, a lot of women who break up with their husbands because they have done something that they see as deceitful and not worthy of remaining in that relationship. Like sometimes the man might have had a woman on the side and they break up. Now she already got 2 or 3 children of her own. Sometimes she don't understand the devastation that she's doing by separating from that man's protection. Well, she's young, she's pretty, she can go get herself another man, so she thinks. Doesn't always go that way, but she thinks she can. So she just may end up getting something better than him. She may, but taking them out of their household from their father is not such a good idea. So sometimes, sisters, you have to sacrifice for your family, your happiness. Do you know that the law never say that you have to be happy? It doesn't say you're commanded to be happy and then get married. It doesn't even say that you're going to be happy and married together. It doesn't mean that. You have to be willing to sacrifice some things, your happiness, usually your happiness, or everything that you desire for the sake of your children getting what they need. See, that's the difference. You already got this husband, and now he does something. It's not that he's not providing. He's not a loving, caring, nurturing father for his children. It's not that he's never there. That's not the issue. The issue is he had another wife, something that by law he's able to do. He got a woman on the side. He calls her a side chick. Well, they call her a side chick. He calls her his woman. But you don't like that fact, and you don't want to be in a polygynous relationship. You despise that, so you'd rather get out and leave him because you're not willing. This is not one of those things that you are willing to sacrifice for your family. You know, they took a toll about women. And I don't know if these women were black women, white women. I don't know who those women were. But they took a toll about women, and they said, would you sacrifice your happiness? Would you leave your happiness for your family, or would you leave your family for your happiness? All the men said that they would leave. This is what they reported. All the men said that they would leave their happiness for their family. But the women, they said that they would leave the families for their happiness. And that's sad. And a lot of women have done that. A lot of women have asked for a divorce from men because they wasn't happy in the relationship. Strong man, strong family, strong morals, everything. But because that man had another wife, that woman didn't want to be in that relationship anymore. And she asked for a divorce, and he granted it. And usually that's what is happening with a lot of our people. Now, you can look that up, and you can verify those words that I'm saying, because it's not that hard to find. These things happen. May the Most High be praised. Such a heavy class today, Toda Rabbah, for your teachings and the intense studies that you have done to properly explain and express these scriptures. Always a pleasure to read. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. Deep lesson. Okay. I got you. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. All right. Cain, thinking about our forefather Moses. His connection with his children and wife Zipporah always made me sad, because sometimes what you are called to do is more than what you can physically see. Absolutely. Absolutely. Men are natural protectors. Thank you, Aim. Toda Rabbah. Toda Rabbah. Yes, a lot of times what you're called to do is a lot more than what you imagine. And if you think about what Moses, just looking at the situation with Moses, he spent very little time with his family. He spent enough time to make 2 sons, but he spent very little time with his family. And if you notice, you don't hear anything about his sons after his death. You hear nothing about his children. Moses gave of himself willingly and selflessly for the benefit of the people. And anybody that's in leadership has to understand that that's what it's all about. Willing to give of yourself for the benefit of the majority, which is the people. And a lot of us haven't understood that, but yet we call ourselves leadership. But may the Most High be praised. There's a lot more work to do in the nation. We have a lot more work to do. So I thank you all once again for coming out. And we're going to close out with class today. Alaya, Hanabi, you think you can come in and close us out with a prayer? Hanabi, can you close us out with a prayer? I just put the link in the room. If you're able to, if you're in a place that you're able to do that, let me know one way or another. If you can close us out with a prayer. Always aim, and may the Most High be with you, aim. Hanabi. Okay, maybe he's not present any longer. All right, then I guess it's on me. All right, come on. All right, Maisha's going to come down and make prayer with us. You going to sing your song first?
Oh, sure. I can't be on camera though.
You can't be on camera. Okay, she said she can't be on camera. So she's going to sing, and then she's going to close us out with prayer. All right, you can come a little closer so they can hear you.
Okay, can you cut it?
You can't see. I got that thing on. You can't see. That's close enough. That's close enough. Now you're showing up. Back up a little bit. Go on that side. All right, there you go. We don't want to see you. We just want to hear you. Yeah. Baruch Abaya. You'll sing.
בשביל זה אני נותן כבוד בזמן הכנה הוא רופא בזמן הנאה הוא נותן בשביל זה אני רוצה כבוד כבוד לאהובורך הארץ והשמיים והים גם הוא בורא אור כבוד ברוך הבא יהוה הוא נותן לנו חיים בשביל זה אני נותן כבוד. I think I messed up on some of
May
the
the
words.
Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah, Toda Rabbah. Tefillah Aksha, Babakasha. Tefillah.
You got the shofar?
No.
Most High, Ha Elohim, power of our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, we ask permission to approach your throne. Baruch atah Abi Eloheinu melech haolam. Toda Rabbah to you, our Creator, our Most High Power, our Chief Power, our everything. We give unto you and you alone praise, for no one stands beside you, above you, or even below you, Most High. You stand alone, and you alone are one. You alone are our shield, our power, our greatness. You alone are our Father, our Abinu. We thank you. We thank you for pulling us out of idolatry, Most High. We thank you for pulling us out of our past way of life, so that we may see you and know you, Most High. We thank you for the opportunity to have knowledge of your Shabbat, to have knowledge of your truth, have knowledge of your Torah. We thank you for just the ability to communicate these things with our loved ones, the ones that are in truth and the ones who are still seeking you, Most High. And even to the ones who aren't seeking you, who are just doing their own thing or maybe in a different way of life. We thank you for the opportunity to be able to communicate with them your truth and who you are, Creator. May we bring those who you see fit to your truth, and help them to remember who they are in your word, Most High. Creator, I thank you and praise your holy name for the word that you have given your people today through my husband. Thank you for providing him with the words, the gift, and the talent to come before your people and give the words. Thank you for the readers, Most High. Thank you for all the people that are watching now live and watching later on. May they all be blessed in your name, Most High Abinu. Creator, we ask you for your protection and your blessing around our most vulnerable people in our families and in our circles. We pray your protection over our elders, Most High. Baba Bilal, our imams, our abbas, the ones that may be sick, are helpless, Most High. Cover them as you see fit, Creator. Put your wing of protection, healing, and love over them. Send your angels, your protection over them in all ways, Creator. Please continue to bless us, Most High, and please forgive us of our sins, our forefathers' sins, knowingly and unknowingly, Most High. Please cover us, Most High, for we need you now and more than ever. We thank you for the blessing that is to be alive, Most High. And even if we have family members that are transitioning, Most High, we still give you glory and praise for you. We know that you got them, Most High. You are guiding them. You are their way. And we thank you. Creator, please, please, please be with us throughout this night. Cover each and every one of those under the sound of my voice throughout the night, Most High. And allow us all to wake up in Boker to praise your name once again. Baruch atah Abi, Baruch atah Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Toda Rabah. Selah.
May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabah. All right. There we go. So there we go, family. Let's close it out. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabah.